All right, let's try this. All right. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I worked on Qore back in the day. I was the UI guy. Well, I was part of the UI team. I was the tech arm, and the art arm was a guy named Nathan Wilson, who's a very good friend of mine, and he and I would collaborate every month to make the very best menus that we could, and we were in charge of all of the menus and interaction and graphics that were in the menus and everything about Qore. Now, the video guys would go off and make the awesome videos every month, and they would deliver them to us, but it would take them time to produce them. So while they were producing them, we would get the interface ready for next month, but then we'd have some downtime, and during those days, we would dive into this tool that we had licensed from Backbone Entertainment. This tool, it was a game engine, but we didn't have access to the game engine stuff. All we had access to was the UI layer. So it's the portion of the game engine that they use to do the menus for their games, as well as the, overlay HUD and aspects like that. It was never intended to make games. So when I got a hold of it, that's all I wanted to do, and it was basically how I learned to use the tool, was to just take the UI layer and just force a game into it, and the result was Death Orb. This was the first game that I made for episode 1 of Qore. It wasn't actually intended to be in the episode, but because we made it, we hit it. So if you went into Qore episode 1 and you pressed L2 on the gamepad, you got you had the pleasure of playing Death Orb, and Death Orb is simpler than Pong. Every time the Death Orb comes to your goal, you have to hit the X button while it's on top of your goal. And if you don't, it scores. It's sort of like air hockey in that sense, or Pong, but there's no movement. It's just a timing game, and the Death Orb gets faster and faster as the game progresses. So that if there's any genius here, it's in that speed progression, because that actually does result in a bit of fun. Now the game, this is the very first game I ever made, ever. I know it's hard to tell, but it's the fact that there's an AI was pretty thrilling for a game developer of my aptitude. I remember the day I did it, I was stationed at Backbone learning the tool, and I said, check this out, to one of the engineers. Oh god, I just lost. Anyway, I remember watching some videos. People found this in Qore, and they thought it was, I don't know. It seemed to me they thought it was cool that there was a game embedded in there. And it's better than nothing. I like to think this game, that's what this game is that it's better than nothing. If it ever came in a box, that's what you'd see right across the front of it. Better than nothing. And I also made the music, and I'm pretty proud of the music. And I mean, there's particle effects. You take that for granted these days. But that was pretty cool. We were given a particle engine, and I just kind of found the best particles. I didn't actually make the effects, but I found ones that suited what was happening on screen. Anyway, the game goes to 7, and that's it. There's nothing else to it. That's it. So it's fun to play multiplayer because it's fun to play multiplayer games. Now, if you downloaded the second episode of Qore, yes, there's a sequel to Death Orb. I'm pretty sure we hit that too, although my memory's not what it used to be. I think if you hit L2 again in this episode, you would get the sequel. Now, the sequel, we ratcheted it up at least 2 notches. Now, Nathan got involved at this point. Nathan is a madman. He's an awesome artist, and he did all these graphics in a day or two, reskinned the game entirely. Now, instead of just random points, you actually have a team at the top of your screen, and the humans is now humans versus aliens, so we're getting a bit of a narrative, you see. And the human team is actually the Qore team. Now, no one would know that unless you recognize Veronica. Veronica Belmont was the host of Qore for most of its lifetime. She's on the far left. She's the last to go. Now, if you go down the line after her, you got Dan, Dave, Chris, myself, Dane, and Nathan. And then all the aliens, and I'm sorry, but all the aliens just look alike to me. Now, the cool thing about this one, besides what I've already explained, is we've introduced Super Serve like any great tennis game. So if you fire, bam, you ratchet, it sends the meter up, and if you hit the meter at the top, you do a Super Serve. But this is where I got a little inventive here. If your opponent returns the Super Serve, you run a risk of doing damage to yourself, because if they return the Super Serve, oh man, if you return the Super Serve, it goes back at Super Serve speed. So the person who served it has to be ready for that. And if they miss, you get a man back. That's awesome. So we call that a resurrection. Now let's see if I can do this. We're both a man down, so hopefully, awesome. I should have let him do that so I could demonstrate the resurrection. Let me see if I can do that. Here we go. Oh, come on, dude. Oh, come on. Don't send me that kind of serve. Ah, you see that? That could be a game changer. That turns things around. The other thing about this is the music now has more layers to it. Again, I did the music to all the Death Orbs. Come on, come on. And it has endings depending on who wins. The first game didn't have anything like that. Come on, come on, come on. Here we go. Aliens are gonna take me out. All right, moving on. Death Orb 3. This is the game. This may be our finest moment. All the games past this one, it's all downhill from here. But over here we have Death Orb 3000, the final encounter. Super weapons. So this is we're just adding layers to the rules of Death Orb. It's like an onion, this game. And in this one, what we added was super weapons. I think that's all we added. I think so. Besides the graphic overlay, the new graphic treatment, now in 3D. You see, the first one you were out in space. The second one you got down in an orbit. And this one you're on the planet. Oh, and there's an excellent intro text written by Daniel Morris. Let's take a look. The final battle. Carl Sagan predicted that humanity would encounter only peaceful extraterrestrials, but he was utterly wrong. Two species are locked in apocalyptic conflict, human versus alien, in a dance of cosmic death. The winner shall know the honor of planetary conquest, while the loser shall know only final extinction. And now the war reaches its moment of decision, as new superweapons will decide the ultimate fate of those civilizations. Can humanity save itself from destruction? Watch the skies. Oh, the music just gets better. So here we go. I'll see if I can demonstrate the super weapon. There's little tiny lights now on your shield. Every time you return a ball, a Death Orb, it goes up a little bit. It only goes up by a third, I think, every time you return a Death Orb. So every time you return 3, you get another little notch. But if you do a Super Serve, I think it gives you like 2 full notches. And it's a blast. So check this out. Oh, I'm gonna get him. Here we go. Only one more notch. Now, to be honest with you, the super weapon. Here we go. Oh, idiot. Oh, he wasn't ready for that, was he? So the super weapon, it basically hits the ball in midfield, so it messes with your timing. And it's a ton of fun with humans. You know, with the AI, not so much, because he's kind of a hack. Oh yeah, I am good. No, I'm good. But the cool thing about the super weapons is when you both have the super weapon and you both fire it at the same time. So once you fire your super weapon, there's about a second where it charges up. Now, if the other player uses it in that moment. Watch what happens. Come on. Use it. And mash! And then you have to mash your buttons as fast as possible. And if you can, you push the death orb out of the ring. Oh no! Come on! Oh yeah! No! Ah! Stupid AI. A human would never be able to do that. Oh, that's so embarrassing. I think the code actually calls the AI for this game artificial stupidity. Let me just beat him real quick. So if the aliens win, yeah, they populate the planet with their own buildings. So obviously the game is utter genius, and if you never got Qore, you never got to play it, and you missed out. All right, moving on. So basically we made these games in our spare time, and we spent about 1 or 2 weeks on them total, because Qore came out monthly, you see, and we would get the content from the video guys, and we would just have to crunch on the menus for the remaining period of the monthly cycle. But up until then, we could tinker away on the engine, and the games actually did have a purpose. They did help me learn the game engine better and better, and that ended up being applied to menus and special features. Which their special features are every bit as cool as the games. Anyway, so check this out. This is Qore Wars, and it is by far the worst game we made. Possibly the worst game ever to be released on the PlayStation in any respect. It's just boring. You just hit these ships. Now, okay, to be fair about anything that's cool about this game, because at the time I was proud of one thing, and that is the Star Wars laser effect. You see this? It goes like when you go, boo! Oh, I gotta get these guys for my bonus. That Star Wars thing. I guess I was playing the Star Wars arcade game in MAME or something, and I thought that's a cool looking effect. I could probably figure out how to do that in Qore, in the game engine. And I guess I did. You know, it's just like I warped some textures or I played an animation in a warped rectangle somehow, and I thought, well, hey, that's cool. It's almost 3D, and we couldn't do any 3D. You understand? I wanted to make full-scale Star Wars, but our toolset was so limited, I couldn't tell how big sprites were on the screen. So I could tell where they were. I just couldn't tell how big they were, and I guess I was too much of a noob to figure out a workaround for that. So nothing changes size, nothing gets closer to you. They just come on screen, and they float around. And they float from one point on the screen to another point on the screen. And it's entirely, this is important, both Death Orb and this are entirely animation-based. There's no code telling these sprites to, go X or Y, X number of pixels. Nothing's being told to offset its position. In other words, everything is playing an animation, like a timeline-based animation. So these little spaceships are playing an animation to go from one random point on the screen to another random point on the screen. And the animation is the exact same length of time, no matter how far that point is. So that's why if they go to a spot close to them, they go slowly, and if they go to a spot far away from them, they go quickly. Oh my god, this game is horrible. So when they get to a spot, they just randomly drop a thing, and if they drop bombs enough, then they destroy your little shield generators at the bottom, and then it's game over for you, and you're like, thank God. But I gotta give major props to Nathan, because as crappy as this game is, the gameplay, his graphics are pretty damn good for, working on it for a few days, if that. He probably spent a couple days on this thing. And I did not live up to his graphic prowess. All right, moving on. Hey, how about that Star Wars laser effect, though, right? That's pretty cool. I had another coffee here somewhere. I'm going to need it. All right, moving on. All right. Oh, now this is like a total game changer. All right, so after Qore Wars, we made Blast Qore. And Blast Qore was another trilogy, like Death Orb was before it. And this was good for me because I had this moment where I was chatting with a friend of mine, and I said, how do you if I wanted to make combat like the old Atari 2600 game, and I said, how can I make a tank fire a gun in a certain direction with like the tools that I have? And we couldn't figure it out, and he just sort of said, it's too bad you don't have trigonometry hooks, functions, because that's how you would do it. You'd use trigonometry, sine and cosine, to figure out the trajectory of a bullet fired from any certain angle. And that was like, I had no idea what he was talking about. And I looked into it, and I learned how that works, and then I asked Backbone kindly if they would please give me some trigonometry functions. And they were like, sure, dude, whatever, here. And 10 minutes later, they sent me a build of the engine so that the UI layer had access to these trig functions. That changed everything for me, because now I could actually move things around on screen, and it didn't have to be animation-based. It could be, it could be more like what you would typically do in a game, which is move things wherever you want. And I even was able to figure out some very, very basic physics. So we released this game first. I believe this was the first thing that we released in... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So you see we have this little like gravity well around the center. This is obviously inspired by Space War or Star Control, that kind of game. And you're the spaceship, and that's my first custom particle effect, that little trail that it leaves behind it. And it's actually not a particle, it's a animation, but it looks like it. All right, and so in this game, you have to hit these little circles in the right order. And here it's going to tell me the order. Red. That's it. I can do red. Done. Yellow, red. It's a very relaxing game. What next? Orange, orange, yellow. So this is Simon. There we go. So I did the correct sequence, and now I go through the warp gate, and I receive a more difficult challenge. Yellow. Got it. Orange, green. Uh-oh, if you miss it, you get shot at, so don't miss it. Its stakes are much higher than Simon. And as the game goes on, you get more and more little nodes. And I love the sound in that game. It's not your typical game. So that's cool. Then we made Arena. And Arena is basically Star Control or Space War with up to 4 players or AIs. And I got to tell you, I was, in my way, proud of the AI in Death Orb, but when I got the AI working in this game, it was like I was a daddy. I mean, this was crazy for me, because I'm telling you, I came to this with very little programming experience, if any, and to get to the point where I was writing AI and a very rudimentary physics engine and all this stuff, it was, and I was, self-taught, so it was just very, very exciting. So we will put this on, like in veteran and normal speed, just to show you. Cool. Now I did the sound. I didn't actually do the music for this game, but I was responsible for all of the sounds, and that was the fun. I love doing the sound. Things come alive when you do the sound. And when you kill those yellow guys, they drop a power-up. They either drop a shield or a health. And the yellow guys, importantly, will not mess with you unless you might hit them first. Now I got the shield. What you gonna do now, huh? What you gonna do? Yeah, and you got your boost and your laser and your missile, and the controls are really, really hard to learn. It was so difficult that the people around the office couldn't get it. So we implemented, an option for 2 different control schemes you can choose in the menu. And why that yellow guy, whole yellow guy has his own little narrative, and you'll understand that later. Oh no, don't look at him! He's trying to get the shield. Did you see that? That's AI, baby. That is some serious AI right there. The cool thing about him, though, is that he will actually use his boost. Did you see that? He used his boost to get the power up. I mean, that is just crazy stuff, man. I don't know how I don't have a job in the games industry. Alright, so it's chaotic. You can do this with 4 ships on the screen, and it's just a mess. Yeah, it's like a demolition derby. Oh no, don't get me, dude. Yeah, get the other dude. Oh yeah, I needed that. Oh, you're done. So there you go. I mean, that's exciting, right? Alright, now the big deal was the campaign. I don't think we spent as much time on any of the games as we did on this arm, this part of this game, the campaign. We were just having too much fun, okay? And I apologize if you're offended by full motion video. Alright, so here we go. I'm just going to choose... I don't want to choose insane because I actually want to finish it.
Captain, we are under attack. Our scientists have detected a highly dangerous energy source inside the wormhole. We need you to infiltrate the wormhole and destroy it as soon as possible. Engage any alien craft along the way. Captain, you are weapons free. Good luck.
So that was Dave. He was in charge of our department. He was in charge of the whole project. Our fearless leader, David Reese. He did end up with the jobs in the games industry. No doubt because of his game development experience making this game. Alright, I gotta...
Well done, Captain. Looks
no.
like those ships dropped codes of some kind.
Not over yet.
Entered at the top of your HUD. Try inputting those codes into the warp gate somehow.
Oh, see, now we're... You get it, right? Because now it's just like that other game. But instead of those beautiful piano notes, let's check this out. And so I got red, orange, yellow. Oh my god. There's a bug? This is horrible. This is horrible. No! Oh, what is this? Oh, that's stupid.
Captain.
All right.
Well done, Captain.
Try this
Looks
again.
like those ships dropped codes of some kind. Entered at the top of your HUD.
Okay.
Try inputting those codes into the warp gate somehow.
Okay, Captain. Can I do it now? Can I hit red? Yes. Jeez, that was weird. Alright, so orange. And then yellow. So check it out, the new sounds, right? People are in the office. Some people like these more.
Excellent job, Captain. Keep looking for the source of that disturbance. Hurry up, we're running out of time.
So I'm all about, taking a poll and trying to please everybody. So check it out, dude. I got double lasers now. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, and let's just take a moment to appreciate these graphics, okay? Nathan did an amazing job with these graphics. Like, I love these graphics. Gotta give it a shield. There we go. All right, so now red, orange, orange. And these are random, dude. So, like, every time you play the game, it's totally different. Emergent gameplay. All right. Plasma upgrade. So my missile now is crazy. Oh, look at that background. Look at that beautiful... Oh my god, these guys are mean. Ah! No! There we go. Alright. Yellow, yellow, orange. Game's about to get interesting. Wait for it. No! Ah. Yellow, yellow. By the way, when I got these orbs to do this little like strange orbiting pattern, total mistake. I thought the PlayStation was possessed. They were supposed to be standing still, and I had an error in my code. I know, it's hard to imagine. I had a bug in my code that caused them to move like this. I thought, well, that's a happy accident. I'm gonna leave that in there. So here we go. Boost upgrade acquired. Oh.
Holy moly! What the heck is that? It's a trap!
Kazar! We are buzzkill, dwellers of the wormhole. Your puny brains cannot begin to contemplate the scrat storm you have stumbled into. Ruck. Your common-based cranial structures can't even process telepathy. Your meddling ignorance must be exterminated.
Alright, so script by Dane Fredrickson. I always give credit where it's due.
Watch out, Captain. Looks like that mothership has some kind of energy shield. Aim
That's
for
true.
those turrets.
Check out this. I mean, look what's going on here. That's awesome, right? Mothership firing turrets at you that rotate and track you. You got a shield that if you fire it, it like lights up. Look at the turrets catch on fire. All the while you're in the middle of warping through the wormhole. Notice you never came out of hyperspace. Oh, the amount of time we spent on this had to have been, I mean, days. Alright, come on, die. There we go. Check it out.
Down. The shields are down. I shoot that mother blaster right in its core.
See, Dave doesn't have a southern accent in real life. I know. It's hard to tell. So now, check it out. Now I can attack the middle while the ships are coming out to get me. Now, the narrative here that's never really explicitly explained is you'll notice these ships look like the yellow guys from the melee and from earlier, right? The ones that just are flying through and you mess with them and then they defend themselves. Well, this is their retribution on you for attacking them. I always wondered, I wonder if somebody never attacked them in the other parts of the game. They always just let them fly through. Then this part would make no sense whatsoever. Here we go. Oh yeah, see, one of them always drops a power-up. Handy stuff, power-ups. Oh, this mothership's going down. I can feel it.
Unbelievable job, Captain. You saved the planet. I'm gonna nominate you for a Medal of Honor. Council's gonna be
Kill all! You have defeated our drones, human. Now we finish this.
Uh-oh. Oh, it's the Emperor. Look out. By the way, that's me as the Emperor in the video segments. Yep. Dave and I got some costumes from Costumes on Hate. And we don't mess around. We got it done. We paid for a full day rental. Also, props to Rob Smith for the suggestion on how that whole boss fight should escalate. Oh my god! Are you serious? Are you serious? Alright. I'll play through again, and we'll just cut to what happens if you beat the Emperor. Alright, you're gonna die this time, dude. I'm not gonna mess around. Bye, Emperor. Ow.
Rock! You have activated my emergency escape warp gate. Long live the Buzzkill Empire!
Captain! Captain!
Ah!
Come in!
Cliffhanger.
This is ground control to Captain! Captain!
Yeah, well, spoiler alert, we never did continue that one.
Captain, we're under attack. Our scientists detect zircon energy source.
Yep, there's bloopers. That's Dave typing away at Alpha Baby.
Detected as highly dangerous Zircon energy source, the Trident wormhole.
It's a computer program for infants. I'll save you the rest of these bloopers. Now, just also to point out, I'm not making any excuses, but we also, I didn't have any way to do collision detection, which if you've ever tried to make a game, you know is a little bit important. So I had to implement my own form of collision detection for all of that, which was an interesting hack. That's all. All right. That was a fun game to make, and we burnt ourselves out. At least I burnt myself out. So we didn't make any games for a few months, and when we came back to it, we went back to something extremely simple, and we made Pixel Rain, which is probably the best name of all of our games. It's also a cohesive graphical experience. It suits the name, and it's got a cool aesthetic. The gameplay is not so hot, but it's what you get for a free game that you don't pay for necessarily. So you got pixels coming from this guy. Look at that pseudo 3D effect. That's pretty cool for an engine that doesn't do 3D. Well, the UI layer doesn't do 3D. Not what we had, anyway. So I suggested Nathan go with a Atari 2600 look, which he nailed. That background. Look at that! It's our first game with a full day-night cycle. So every level progresses through the 24-hour period. You get 6 hours later with each one. So here we are at dusk. I have to get enough pixels in order to progress to the next level. And it's like Missile Command, but, on steroids. And if I lose a building, if I get over 100% accuracy, I get a building back. And how do you get over 100%, you ask? Well, you can shoot through pixels. They're fragile. So one bullet can score you multiple pixels. Uh-oh, wrong button. I said, here, let me demonstrate. Look at that. Look at that fire effect. Oh my god, the graphics are amazing. The red ones are cool. I had this was probably the trickiest game for sound, maybe, at least up until then. When I got that shattering glass effect for the reds, it kind of came together. But the firework effect for all the others was kind of tricky. That's a lot of sound to deal with at once. So I'm just gonna go one more so you see the full. You want to see Dawn? I know you're dying to see Dawn. Some of you probably tuned in just to see Dawn in Pixel Rain, and I don't want to let you down. Oh, you almost got. You did get. All right, never mind. 15 more pixels. 5 more pixels. Here, look at that. The sun's coming up. Nathan's a madman. That's it. I don't know. Not too much to it. Simple game. A nice little distraction. I don't remember. It had nothing to do with any of our features. It just kind. I think I probably got the little spinny pixel thing going. I said, well, we could do something with that. There's a little fake light source thing, by the way. That spinny pixel. It wasn't actually reflecting light. It was turning white and then back to its color. Ah! Okay, so we had a Tron. I think we probably had a Tron feature. And that was all I needed. I needed any excuse to finally make a light cycle game. The Tron Arcade game is one of my favorite arcade games. It is indisputably the best looking arcade game. Check out this attract mode. Now, I was a big fan of arcade games back in the day, and they always had good attract modes. So we spent some time on our attract modes, and all the games, you'll notice, they look kind of cool when you get to the title screen. This one, probably the coolest of all. I spent an entire day with some graph paper mapping out those words psych out up there, and then putting it into a code. So the cycles actually run X number of seconds, or fractions of a second. They actually run, and then they turn left or right, and then they leave trails. I just have the collision detection turned off, so they actually spell out words, and it worked. So, I don't know why the cue's messed up. It wasn't messed up when I made it, but it's messed up now. Something happened. Anyway, This was also the first game that Jeremy Michael worked on. He came on as an engineer. Now, he's a real programmer, which was new to us. And he did the AI for this. Because I was just like completely baffled as to how to do light cycle AI. Google had done a contest for who could make the best. Now, let me start a game. We'll just do 1 human player. We'll play to 3, and we'll do normal. Google had done a contest for who could make the best light cycle AI for some reason. I don't know if it was like a mapping thing for them or what, but it was all open source. So we were able to look at that. He was able to look at that and to do some techniques. And then he ported it over to Backbone script, and it worked. So check it out. All the voices are from people on staff. I think I'm blue. Oh god. Yep, that was me. Let's see. Okay, so Heather's yellow and Dave is green, which would make Veronica red, I guess. Alright. You got a little boost, that's fun. Yeah, that was Heather. Oh god. Yeah, that was Veronica. It's a nice little light cycle game. It's super fun with 4 players.
Psych out.
And if somebody would just win, you could hear the little voice at the end, which is a little celebratory thing, and it's always different. Nicely done, Heather. I'm sorry, Veronica. Oh my god! I love how they're good. The AI cut you off. I think Veronica might have this one. Oh yeah, nice move. Come on, yellow. Don't lock yourself in, dude. Oh yeah. Look how badass Veronica is. There you go. She's gonna win it. You can feel it.
I'm the best.
So you get this little. Look at those. So that particle effect I did. I actually made that particle effect like a pixel firework. It's pretty awesome. All right, you know, all these games were a lot more interesting at the time. But anyway, look at that awesome little glowy light on the back of the little icon for the controller up there. That's good work, Nathan. You gotta remember, dude, this is like free time games. Nathan is just such a talented artist. All right, so then we made Rune Raider. All right, I know it says Qore Raider, but it's Rune Raider. Sony made us change the name to Qore Raider for this release. They got a little nervous about the name Rune Raider, I guess. So this was here, check it out.
Rune Raider.
Voice
In
of
this
Rob Smith.
dungeon you cannot die. You are measured solely by your score at the end of the game. Magically control your mana ball to collect gold and vanquish monsters. Quickly kill neighboring monsters to rack up chain multipliers for big points. You can advance to the next stage anytime by breaking all the keystones. Every time you break a keystone, the magic hourglass is flipped. But be careful. If the sands run out, the monsters become enraged, and they cannot be defeated until you touch another keystone. Clear all monsters and coins for special bonuses, and try for a perfect stage by keeping the hourglass sands perpetually flowing. Good luck. Post shots of your high scores in the Qore forum on PlayStation.com.
I wonder if anybody did that. All right. So this was our first. Wow, we redid the title. Okay. Yeah. This was our first game that we made where anyone else took notice. Which is not to say it's anything terribly special. It's just the first time that we ever made a game that other people consider to be a real game. It's our first ever time messing with actual level design. Up until now, everything was like a single screen and largely randomly driven, and just, AIs duking it out. But this actually required us to design levels that you would progress through. And I forget, let's see, each Rune Raider has 12 levels, okay? So, and it got some interesting mechanics. I mean, it's still a free time game, but there's some things in here I have never seen before, and we're pretty proud of it. So you control your little ball, and you collect whatever you want. But there's the sands dropping down in the hourglass at the top of the screen. If that runs out, as you know now from watching the introduction video, these like pinball bumpers, and yes, this was largely inspired by pinball. They turn evil, and so you can't pop them anymore. If you do that, you can't get a perfect stage either. So the goal really, once you understand all the rules, is to get 12 perfect stages, which, as far as I know, only one person has ever managed to do such a thing, and that's Dave Reese, the captain from Mother Blaster. So what's interesting is that if you hit those little keystones, those purple things, the hourglass flips over, but it flips over no matter where the sands are. So if you flip it over too early, it's bad, because then they start ticking down and there's only a few left. You see? I mean, that's pretty interesting, right? So when you get that, that's when you want to hit it. Okay, check it out. All coins.
Coins clear.
Check out that voice acting.
Monsters clear.
Rob Smith. Here we go.
Perfect.
Look at, and now we got this glowy thing happening around the center, and when I go touch the center, check it out. Yeah, this is like a real game. And the PSP was coming out at the time, and or the PSP Go, and I think Sony considered for a second, like literally a second, having us port this over to the PSP Go, which would have been pretty cool. Check out how, when you hit these monsters, the crack is actually where you hit it. Check this out. Boom. The crack appears on the right-hand side. Alright, you impressed yet? Alright, let's see. So this is another trilogy, but this is the first time that we ever spent longer than like the period of the episode we were working on, like the free time of 1 month, a week or two. This is the first time where we ever got to a point and we was like, let's not release this yet. Let's work on it for another cycle and see what happens. And that's so if there's any additional amount of polish to these games, that's why we let it cook for another cycle. So we released it as a trilogy. We designed 12 new levels for each one, and I started passing off level design to Nathan and Dave because I was out of ideas. So they would design them, and the level designer was essentially the tool that I used, and I just had it set up so that the walls ran their own little logic, and you could just drag walls around and design levels. And the music is different in each one. Oh, so by this one we added portals, which are awesome. Oh, of course it's not in the first here. Oh, I can go to whatever level I want. Let's see here. Look at the moving stuff. Pretty good. Let's see. What about like 3 have portals? Ah, look at that. Look at that. So, oh yeah, so in the second one we added portals, and in this one we added like multiple portals. So now there's a green portal and a white portal. And if I go through the green here, I'll exit through the other green, but I don't want to hit that monster on the other side of it. And he's like permanently monster, you see. Oh yeah. So you see it's a little scary hitting those monsters because you can bounce you around like a pinball. And oh my gosh. So, oh gosh, now I gotta get to the keystone. I don't have a whole lot of time. There we go. So it's not like it's like a kind of a meditative game. It's kind of little moments of kinetic action. There's a lot going on with collision. You're a beautiful particle effect. Look at the fire coming off of the walls. That's pretty cool. Oh, watch out. So that's it. It's that's Rune Raider. That's it. I don't know. Some people liked it. I don't know. We're proud of it. That was the last. No, was it sort of the last big game we made? Maybe we made the Light Cycle game after that. We probably made the Light. Yeah, we probably made the Light Cycle game after that. It's just out of order here. Oh yes, and then this was sort of our last game. This, although I don't know. I get these things out of order. But we had some sort of a heist game in
Okay,
Qore.
Script Kitty, do your job and we'll get along fine. Screw it up and prepare to download A World of Pain. Now, pay attention, follow my instructions, and let's make some money. I want my yacht. Press the X button.
Veronica did an awesome voiceover for this. I gotta hand it to her. She made this game fun, if at all. And it's called Hack Attack. We had some
Press
sort of
the
heist
X
game.
button. Now.
Chill. We made a heist game to
Now,
go
this
along
is
with
an
it.
unprotected system. Even you should have no problem here. Use the right stick to aim the beam at the lock nodes. Lock all 4.
All right, so the whole concept behind this game is to make something that's hard to control.
Can we get this done soon, please?
which seems like what we were good at anyway, right? So we might as well turn it into a mechanic, a design choice rather than a byproduct.
Aw, how cute.
Thanks.
Moving on.
Okay, so the
This is
right
a weak
stick.
system. The tumbler will block your beam, so pause it with the shoulder buttons. Now lock the 4 nodes again.
By this point, Nathan and I, I don't know, we just
hurry up.
chill, Veronica. We were a well-oiled machine at that point.
It took you long
So-
enough.
I think this is a pretty damn good-looking
Okay,
game.
now we're inside a real system. Use the left stick to aim your shield. Those red
And this
things, antiviruses. Don't let them hit you or it's game over and I never heard of you. Now,
Oh, God.
job done. Well,
Oh, God.
nice knowing you.
Oh god, I forgot how to play. Yeah. Well, anyway, I think
You're
it's
so
pretty
cute when that little
good-looking
vein
game.
in your head pops out like that.
And we knocked it out, and as a feature. And this was included in Qore. It wasn't hidden. It was part of a feature. And
Is it really that hard?
yeah,
Really?
it's not that easy. Chill.
Wow, look at you. You're hacking.
Ah!
Moving on.
CC gets harder and harder. I think there's another antivirus in the next level. But you're like hitting your shoulder buttons to stop that thing from rotating. Your left stick moves this thing, this shield,
Oh, for
which
the
blocks the
love of-
antiviruses.
Would you just do it?
You got Veronica berating you, and the right stick fires the laser. So it's like juggling.
You did it. Not a total loss.
Yeah, there's the other antivirus. And they move faster and faster. And if I ever, shoot them... Oh, if they forced your shield to open in their direction, which is devious.
What
And if you shoot
exactly
them-
am I paying you for?
I think they go faster, and they come right back at you after they hit the wall. Yeah.
Well, that hardly took you any time at all.
Uh-huh. Anyway, it's not a bad little game, and if you get to the end of it, you get a lot of money. Fake money. That's it. My goodness, is that it? For real? Yeah, you thought so, but check it out. There's an Easter egg hidden in this menu. It was another one of our features. Yeah, you thought that was it, but you go up here, and if you fire at the logo, look at that. I forget why we did this, but we had some kind of music game. So we made our own tracker using a set of preset samples. Oh, check out. Yeah. So let's see. I'm just going to erase everything if I can figure that out. There we go. So I'm going to check it out. So you move this along and you lay down your beats, and it's an 8-beat measure, and it repeats. And you can lay down hi-hat, open, oh shoot, don't do that. Open hi-hat, what do we got? Where's the kick drum? Oh no, not that, that's like a synth. Oh, that's just snare in there somewhere. Oh, that sounds like a kick. Oh, that's another kick. What? That's weird. Alright. this must be the snare. Yep. So we'll put the snare down right like that. Boom, bum, bum, boom, bum, bum, boom. So check it out. It's going. You're starting to feel that, right? And then we'll add a little more. Well, that sounds stupid. Add something over here. Yeah, it's starting to come together. I mean, you could definitely hear this in a club, right? Anyway, you get the idea. You can sort of sketch out some songs. And the cool thing is, you can change the tempo. So here we'll change the tempo, make it go faster. Or slower. And you can change the amount of swing. So I'll turn it straight time. Or I'll kick the swing way up. So that's kind of cool. So it also had, by Dave's design genius was, he said you should just make a random song. So every time you hit the start button, it just gives you a random sequence. Oh, see, that's like 10 times better than my song. And his dream was that people would throw parties and have this on. And they would just, on a nice sound system, and people would just come up and, like, rather than DJ and pick songs, they would make their own song. Maybe they just hit the start button. Check that out, man! That is awesome! Yeah. So that was fun. That was cool that we made that. Again, pushing the UI tool a little beyond its intended purpose. That's what we did for a few years at Qore, Future Studios. And that was the last of those. We made a lot of really cool interactive features too. Memory match games and shooting galleries and a thing where you could drag artwork around and create this layered movie poster, and then people would send us their screenshots of it and we'd share them with the world, and it was a ton of fun. We had a great time on Qore. And these mini games are an important part of that whole chapter for me, and I wanted to document this, get everything down before PlayStations became harder to come by. And even if we have emulators for the PlayStation 3, I'm not sure this will be out there to play. So I wanted to get it on YouTube or something. All right, so thanks for watching, and leave any questions in the comments, of course. And if you were a fan of Qore, if you ever actually played one of these games in the wild, I'd love to hear from you. Because we had a ton of fun making them. And I hope you liked them. I hope they were better than nothing. That's what it comes down to. Take care.